Learn how to liberate yourself. Stay tuned. This is Damon from NLP Gym. Is NLP a pathway to liberation? If you haven't already, please click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. Well, first of all, we have to talk about what is liberation. And you really can't talk about liberation and freedom unless you're talking about liberation from something, or freedom to do something, or freedom from something. One of my mentors said, if you see anything through to its end, it will liberate you. And I've seen how I can apply that to many different areas of my life. One in particular is my calling or my purpose, or callings that I've had, or a feeling of having a purpose in doing something. For instance, I started a novel maybe about 15 years ago, and I started writing it, and I was writing furiously to finish it as fast as I could, and a few times I just kind of broke down and couldn't continue, even after writing for 4 hours a day for a few years. And I kept putting the novel down to the point where sometimes I put it down for years. And when I put it down for years, I actually put it down to start a family, have kids, start a business, and I really didn't have time to write during that time. The funny thing happened was the characters in the story started to haunt me, just like ghosts in my mind. And the story started to haunt me as if it was saying, you're not done, you need to finish this, you need to get back to it. And eventually I did get back to it, and eventually I did finish it, and it gave me a sense of being liberated from those ghosts that were in my head, which were just the characters, and from the story. We all have callings, we all have this potential that pulls on us, and is wanting you to take action in that direction. And sometimes we do, and we quit later on. We don't see that thing through to the end. And it ends up causing us suffering later on because we're ignoring our potential. And Abraham Maslow once said that if you ignore your potential, you will suffer. And I completely agree with this. In my case, I've felt this over and over. I've had projects that I've never started that I've only thought about, and they just cause me suffering because I'm not doing anything about it. When I start doing something about it, I get that relief. Sometimes you might find that when you start a project, you get that relief, that suffering sort of ends because now you're doing something about it. And because that suffering is relieved, you might feel like it's okay to quit. And then when you quit, eventually that suffering returns because you didn't finish it and your potential is not being fulfilled. To me, liberation is really fulfilling your potential. NLP is an incredible tool, an incredible system to fulfill your potential. I wouldn't say it's a pathway like a religion or necessarily like a philosophy, but what it does is it's full of tools and models to help you unlock your potential and fulfill your potential. You can apply it to really anything. Creative types, you know what I mean. When you start a creative project, or you've been thinking about starting a creative project and you haven't done it, you might notice that there's some suffering that comes with that. Then when you start the project, the suffering is relieved. If you quit and you don't finish the project, a lot of times it will come back to haunt you. And this is because you have that creative potential and you're not fulfilling it. For people who are not so much into the creative arts, and maybe it's business or it's some other type of venture that's outside of creativity, it's the same thing. You feel that potential inside of you, and you know that if you don't do anything about it, you're going to suffer. You take action on it, and then if you don't go the full way with it, and you stop, or you don't give that everything you've got, the suffering will come back in. And sometimes we experience that suffering and we think that's the reason why we should quit. It's not. Sometimes we need a break. So definitely take breaks when you need to. Learn to find that balance. Learn to find when you're fulfilling your potential and you're moving toward fulfilling your potential or moving toward finishing a project, and know the difference when you're burning out. Because burning out can, if you're putting too much into it and you're not giving yourself a break, you can definitely burn out. When you see something through to its end, you can finally let it go. And only you are going to know when it's complete. Only you can know when it's done because you will feel it. You will feel that sense of freedom. There are things that I've gotten started as far back as college, and I didn't see through to its end, and it came back. And I picked it back up, and I'm working on it again, and sometimes I feel like, oh, I just want to get off this train, I want to get off this track, it's too much. But I know if I do that without seeing it through to its end, it's only going to cause suffering, and I won't feel free from it. So I have to go back into it and free myself from it by seeing it through to its end. Again, NLP is an amazing tool, an amazing methodology and system for unlocking that potential, giving you a process and some guidance, and working through and completing anything that you want to complete, whether it's creative or business or personal, whatever. Neuro Linguistic Programming has helped me see things through to its end. And that is why I use this methodology to continue to pursue my purpose and my potential and ultimately fulfill it and then liberate myself from it. Check out our website, nlp-gym.com. Follow us on Facebook for real-time updates on upcoming workshops and free practice sessions that I hold right here in beautiful Santa Cruz most Saturday mornings. If you like this video, please click like right down here and leave a comment or a question. I will get back to you. Stay tuned to the end of this video so you can get your hands on a free NLP online training. Take care.